everybody, and welcome to the weekly wrap for October 30th, 2020. I'm Seth Miller from PaxX.aero.
And I'm Maryann Simson from Apex Media. This week, saw ANA announce the details of a fairly major restructuring that'll see the overall fleet size being reduced, but also they're going to introduce a new airline brand designed to target the sort of mid-range value sector with Boeing 787s.
Yeah, this is a really interesting move. You could argue they're sort of copying JAL and the Zip Air model with their sort of long-haul LCC-ish approach. The plan is to take some of their 787s, reconfigure them up to more than 300 seats, which is relatively high density for ANA's configurations, and operate them within the Asia and Australia regions. And so really talking about not just a structural change for the airline, but truly a structural change for where they see the market being. The company says they don't expect business travel really to return at the levels anywhere close to what they had been in the past. This isn't 3 to 5 years out. This is sort of like an ever kind of consideration for them. And so shifting to what they're considering more of a leisure or VFR, visiting friends and relatives markets, a little higher density, some more ancillary fees probably along the way, but still trying to sort of shift where the brand flies.
Yeah, and this is a 2-class configuration, Seth, and it kind of makes me wonder, I don't know if this popped into your head at all, if they're trying to compete with what Qantas is trying to not Qantas, sorry, Virgin Australia is trying to reshape themselves into. It sounds familiar. 2 classes, this sort of mid-range value segment that they're going after.
Yeah, I think the main difference would be that the ANA new operation is going to be slightly longer haul, because they're using 787s instead of the 737s down from Virgin Australia. But yeah, very similar to this sort of middle. We want to still be appealing to the people that can afford to pay more, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of people down the back that are not paying as much, and we need to carry more of them to break even.
Right. So this restructure also involves a lot of cost reductions across the entire group. It looks like they are going to be reducing their costs by around 150 billion yen for 2020 and looking to reduce it by a further 250 billion in 2021. They're going to be doing this by reducing the amount of office space that they have. They're going to review some unprofitable business and assets and try to get rid of those. They'll be increasing cooperation among their maintenance units and, of course, thinning out the fleet.
Yeah, and reducing the fleet's a big one, dropping about 10% of the total aircraft between the ANA and Peach groups, and a lot of them are 777s, which is interesting. They use the 777-200 for a lot of domestic flying, as well as sort of short-haul regional stuff. So those are big planes with a lot of seats on board that are going to be disappearing. So expect capacity to be down for quite some time.
Indeed. Okay, moving along, the IATA Global Disability Symposium took place this week, virtually, of course, and explored some pretty important topics to our industry, including accessible air travel during the current problems, overview of the existing and upcoming policy and regulation. They're looking at practical considerations and discussing ability hot topics, as well as the future of accessibility and how they can connect the dots in terms of innovation.
Yeah, and this is obviously a very important topic, hot topic these days. Alexandra Dejuniak, is quoted, "We want to restart for all passengers, which includes travelers with disabilities," and that really is important. The industry has a long way to go on this front. You hear some of the discussion about things like long-haul flights on single-aisle planes that don't have accessible lavatories, or challenges with wheelchairs and things getting, whether they're either lost and damaged en route or not carried at all, which has actually proven to be a bit of a problem this week in the U.S. as well. So there's a lot going on in the market, but also a lot of optimism and a lot of hopeful cooperation, I think, on this front.
Yeah, there was a lot of conversation going on in the community along with the flying inclusive hashtag, which is what everybody was using. So we saw some feedback from some advocacy groups and some wheelchair-bound passengers, for example, people with disabilities, who for the most part were applauding the content of the symposium. Some of them still had hard questions or had some issues that they think need to be looked at a little bit more in detail, but overall it seems like it was a really great week on this front.
Always, talking about it's great, but action is what really matters. And I don't know if it's coincidence or just or on purpose, but United Airlines this week actually released an update to its mobile app, both on Android and iOS, that actually focuses on visually disabled passengers or blind passengers. Did a bunch of changes to the UI and UX to make it so that it works better with screen reader technology, And they had a really cool video showing off how it worked with one of their senior designers who is in fact blind. So, this is a sort of representation matters, getting the right people in the room to help work through these problems and make sure that the product delivers on that front. It matters.
Yeah, and we actually have a clip from the video, so we'll go to that now and listen to him describing why the app is so much better than it was before.
Non-stop flight from Chicago to Houston. Checked in.
As the developers were putting together features and content, first I helped them understand how the accessibility features, particularly the screen reading software, works. Then I did a lot of testing and was able to tell them what changes they needed to make things even more accessible. As a customer with a disability, I have the same needs for day of travel access as anybody else. I want to know where my bags are. I want to be able to check in for my flight and view my boarding pass and know that that's actually my boarding pass up on the screen. And thanks to the changes we made in the United app, I can do all those things.
Great. Well done, United. That's great to see. Seth, in the 26 weeks that we've been doing the weekly wrap, we've talked a lot about PPE and we've talked a lot about services on board and how they've changed. But we have yet to have an actual amenity provider on the program. So today we'd like to welcome Simon Yaffe, who is the sales director at Buzz Products. They're based in Australia, to talk to us a little bit about what they're focusing on right now, what their customers are after, and how business is for them.
Yeah, thanks. It's going to be great. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Well, thank you very much, Maryann and Seth. It's a great pleasure to speak with you today, and we absolutely always have time for our friends at Apex.
Simon, what have the last 6 months been like for you over at Buzz there?
Well, I'm coining 2020 the year of reflection, and like many businesses around the world, the Buzz team are working from home. We're very focused on regular and meaningful contact with our customers, ensuring that we're available to support their needs, and many on short lead times, to be perfectly honest. Without stating the obvious, PPE is absolutely front of mind, and our team have been redefining our go-to-market approach for this particular category. Buzz is often at the front of industry and global trends, and we've been developing innovative and market-leading solutions for our return to the skies. So we encourage your viewers to watch this space.
Right, and how have you been working with your customers specifically to accommodate their needs during the time?
Well, Maryann and Seth, I think fundamentally it's most important that we listen to our clients, that we ask some challenging questions, and that we support them as they endeavour to reinvent their service. It also important is to source and produce quality PPE solutions with a hint of design, and we've developed items beyond generic PPE that match the different travellers, whether they're kids or premium cabin. Importantly, they use the latest technology like antimicrobial textiles and the various antibacterial cleaners. Our innovation, our product development, and our design teams have been working overtime, and our customers require fast turnaround times on ideation and delivery. And we've broadened our supply base because flexibility is key.
We've seen a lot of hygiene-driven amenity kits, which obviously makes a lot of sense given the circumstances on board, but it feels a little clinical, not sort of that it loses that luxury option, that luxury feel that passengers really are going for. How do you see these two sort of arguably competing interests cooperating and working together going forward?
I think across the board, the airlines have done a wonderful job of communicating their clean strategies to their customers, and definitely passengers feel more at ease when flying. Hygiene-based amenity kits are absolutely necessary, but passengers still want that luxury. They don't want it to feel too clinical. Clean and safe travel can coexist, and they can coexist in style. A hand sanitizer can be beautifully packaged, can contain an aromatic scent, or it can be nourishing on the hands. And those top luxury brands like Toomey and Byredo, Murchison Hume, and Sunday Riley, they're creating clean solutions for their retail range. So we need to ensure that we can deliver this to our airline customers. And we have a reputation to work with these style of brands to develop travel-specific branded products that passengers both value and trust.
Interesting. Simon, sustainability was a huge topic in 2019. Do you think we've digressed on this front at all, or is it still front of mind for your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Customers are still demanding sustainability as a key priority. We're seeing an equal focus on clean and sustainable right now, and many of the airlines we speak to have made public commitments pre-2020 to reduce their carbon footprint. So sustainable in-flight product solutions are absolutely on the radar right now. Buzz has been at the forefront of sustainable solutions, from sustainable raw materials and repurposing waste at factory through to our eco-thread blankets and various circular solutions. And we have to consider a myriad of sustainable solutions, but we have to ensure we're always aiming for cost neutral.
Looking beyond the current situation to the future here, how do you see air travel evolving and other trends that you think might be sort of leading the way on that front?
Well, crystal balling, right? I absolutely love looking at the future. To quote Carla Bazzassi, we know we will emerge into a different world. The way we work, the way we live, the way we play and the way we travel won't ever be the same. But there absolutely remains a love for travel. And we're optimistic about travel and that travellers will return with fervour. And airline brands will need to retain and build customer engagement. So luxury, wellness, clean and pure will absolutely need to coexist.
All right, thank you, Simon. Thank you so much for joining us today. Moving along to total opposite side of the world, in Canada, WestJet has opened a new flagship lounge in Calgary.
Yeah, the Elevation Lounge, they're calling it, is pretty swanky, I gotta say. It looks really nice. Focused on sort of business class passengers as well as their frequent flyer members, as well as buy-in access. So sort of anybody can use it for the right price, of course. And, you know, a lot of the typical lounge stuff that you would expect to see. They've got a fancy shower suite that you can reserve. They've got food and beverage that's local, taking advantage of, you know, freshness and local menu options, local suppliers. Bunch of different seating areas around the space for, you know, if you need to work, if you need a call room, if you need a little meeting room, all sorts of things like that. So it really, you know, in some ways is just another lounge, but looking at it, especially for WestJet, that for so long was, you know, sort of the value, sort of low-end carrier in Canada, is really trying to up its game here. This is a transformational moment, I would argue, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I really love the central fireplace that definitely has a bonfire feeling to it. I'm sure that was not a mistake. And I think it's just great to have something so high-end in Calgary Airport. It's not the most busiest airport. It doesn't have the most going on in terms of amenities. So I think this is going to be, you know, a real crown in the jewel for that airport.
Yeah, and you know, when you start talking about WestJet and their sort of international expansion plans with the 787s and whatnot, Calgary is going to be the hub for that. So making it more, I think, a little more business focused makes a lot of sense.
And I have to say, as a Canadian, I think WestJet is really well liked in Canada. They're really well loved. And talk to any Canadians and they'll tell you that they really enjoy flying with WestJet. I say, you know, WestJetters care, and they really do. I think that, you know, the staff is really friendly. And most people that I know have had nothing but very good experiences with the airline. So congratulations, WestJet. All right, moving along to the final thought of the day. We've got Halloween coming up this weekend, and the news hasn't always been the most cheerful lately, so we thought we'd show you some dogs in plane costumes.
Always a winner. Always a winner.
Always a wiener dog.
Hey!
Hey! Actually, yeah, we got 2 wiener dogs here. Another one in goggles. I just have to say this makes me happy, and I hope it makes everybody at home happy too. Thank you so much for watching the show. That makes us happy also. Thanks, Seth, for joining me today.
Always a pleasure, Maryann.
Make sure you click like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Share it with your friends. You can get more great aviation news at paxx.aero or apex.aero. And make sure you turn in next time.